is up, Baton Rouge? I'm Lee Jacoby, your 2025 Fort Cancer Event Chair with Ochsner MD Anderson Cancer Center.
And I'm Caitlin Cockerham, your American Cancer Society staff partner. We are so excited to be here in the Garage Studios, brought to you by Gordon McKernan Injury Attorneys. Shout out Gordon and his team for hosting us. We are thrilled to be interviewing majority of our amazing tastemakers over the next couple of days to hear all about their why, what they're excited about for Fort Cancer, get to know them on a little deeper level. And so without further ado, let's get into it.
Yeah, let's hear from our tastemakers. Thanks, guys. Hey, welcome back. How is everyone today?
Welcome back. Good. How are
I
you?
am pumped to be
Last
here
day.
today with one of probably my favorite people on this earth. Like, I'm not kidding. Very near and dear to my heart, the Annabeth Guillory. We're very excited to have you here. So we're going to get into it a little bit, but we're going to play a game. But first, can you start off by introducing yourself, telling us your role, and a little bit just about yourself in general?
So I'm Annabeth Guillory, Vice President of Clinic Operations at Ochsner MD Anderson Cancer Center. And so very excited to be here with y'all. Lily, I feel the same way about you and about what y'all are doing. It's incredible. So in my day-to-day life, I take care of cancer patients, and that's what we do day in and day out. And so being able to work with y'all, the American Cancer Society, and the missions that y'all are focused on, it's such an honor.
Yeah, I love it. And you were part of the OG tastemaker class.
Yes.
I was, and that was so much fun.
Yeah, that was so long ago. I remember that's when I first started working with you, and I saw the little stand on your desk. I was like, what is this? And then you
Yes.
invited me. So you actually are the real reason why we're here.
Yeah.
Amazing.
So you can thank her.
Yeah, seriously. Thank you.
I had forgotten that note. Lily
My
is
right
a-
hand.
Yeah, she is incredible.
She
And you know
is.
what's so funny is that night I had to give a speech because we were the sponsor.
Yeah.
And I was like very early pregnant. So I was just praying I wouldn't pass out from the heat and then being in heels because it was an incline. So I was like, how quickly can I get this speech?
And you had the fan around your neck, and I was like, oh, that's genius. Like, I wish I had that.
Yes.
so
So I guess
fun.
we can start off with, okay, so you mentioned you're working with Ochsner MD Anderson Cancer Center,
Yes.
which is our title sponsor. We're so thankful for them. They've been partnered with Fork since the beginning, like you
Yes.
said. Talk to us a little bit about, the partnership, why you yourself have stayed involved with Fork all these years, as we continue to grow, and just, what that looks like for you.
I think for me, I get to see firsthand the funds we raise and how it impacts patient lives. And so, and seeing that, that connection just makes you want to continue to be invested in the process. We see that the dollars go towards transportation or towards lodging or towards just advocating for patients and for progression and treatment. And so I have that unique opportunity where I see what's happening. And so it's easy to want to be a part of this. It's great. You're continuing to engage young professionals in our community, which I think is really cool too, because that's the future too of the community. And if we can engage people younger, make them a part of this process, imagine the impact we're going to make in cancer. Because just around dollars are one thing, but just the education around screening and awareness, and you're seeing, not that I'm clinical, my background's business, but you're seeing that the screenings of the age groups are starting to go down. Like where, people are colonoscopy screenings have starting younger, some of the breast screenings. So like we're seeing more and more of that. And so it's important to start getting the word out further and getting people involved in how we can, because it's going to take us all coming together as a community. So I think that's why I've continued to stay involved, is because I get to see it firsthand day in and day out.
Yeah.
And I love
for
that you
sure.
brought that part up. That's something we've been talking about with several of the tastemakers, is that just a couple weeks ago, ACS released their 2025 cancer facts and figures. And one of the things was that the age group is lowering that
It
is
is,
getting
yeah.
cancer. The young professionals, we are the demographic
Yeah, we
now,
are the new face.
especially women.
Yes.
And so, but I think it's going hand in hand with what you're saying, because I think there's more cases of cancer, but it's because we're getting screened younger, which is really saving lives in itself, getting screened. And so that's a big focus for Lily and I this year with Fork in general, is just pushing those early screenings, that early detection, because that's been proven to be the best factor at, beating cancer, living with cancer. And so
Right.
That's right.
So I think, I mean, I know this because we work together every day, which has been absolutely fantastic. And one of the things that we do focus on is that education and screening aspect. So what are some of the key initiatives, if you tell our viewing audience here today, what Ochsner does for screening education here locally in Baton Rouge?
Yes. So we're fortunate, with our own patients, we have Epic. And so it automatically will do outreach to our patients to say, hey, you're due for your mammogram, you're due for your colonoscopy. And so we have that built-in technology to automatically alert patients to say, have this done. So in addition to our team following up with patients, especially if they're not, it doesn't look like they've had it done yet, making sure that we're following closely to our patients. We track the measures to say, okay, how many of our patient population are getting this done, to make sure we're staying within the benchmark. So we don't just like stop at, okay, let's make sure we're getting people in. How are we doing on a national level, local level? Because we know that screenings impact our community. And to your point, the earlier you have the screenings, the better outcomes you have. So that's one thing like within we do for our patients, making sure that we're staying on top of screenings with them. We also do a lot of community outreach. One of our partners is with Southern University and the mobile JAG-mobile. And so we work with them. Yes, it's been incredible because it allows us also to go to communities, right? Yeah. Because we also recognize that not everybody has the ability or the resources to come to us. And so I know we don't have like mobile mammography at this point, but what we have done is bring nurse practitioners out, partnered with the Southern nursing students. And we go and we do like high risk breast assessment, like breast cancer assessments. Like, are you at high risk? We ask those questions. We make them aware of like when they should be screened. And then if they need something, we help facilitate that for them.
Right there.
So that's been a great partnership for our providers and for the community, because we'll work with other like local churches to say, hey, we're going to bring it here on this date. Let your community know, and then come, and then we're able to meet with folks.
Right. I really like what you said there, because you're saying we're bringing the health to them so they don't have to come to us. Like, we'll bring it, if you build it, they will come. But you said also working with the nursing students, which falls like really in line with Fork and young professionals, building that up and pairing that with the mission and purpose of ACS, which I love. And I think that's why we love being able to sponsor and have like Ochsner be a sponsor year after year, to be honest with you. I mean, it's just been incredible to be able to see that.
And we did one other thing I wanted to say.
Oh my gosh, keep going. Yeah.
With ACS, part of the grant dollars is we did massages and mammos. So like we do a big event on a Saturday to make it convenient for, as we all know, a lot of
working moms,
female, like our plates are full. So how do we make it a day of, pamper, but also, find a convenient time for you to come with your friends and get it done. And so that was a really successful event where we did, I think, 40 mammograms in that Saturday. So, which it's maybe insane. Otherwise maybe would not have been done, because it's truly what happens is often is we know we need to get it done, but we get busy with life and a month passes and then 2 months passes and all of a sudden you're visiting your provider and then something happens,
Yeah, for sure. Me and my children are patients of Ochsner, always have been, and I love getting those reminders, like you're saying, because like going back to just being a working mom, like I will never miss my kids' well checks, whatever. Like Mary Catherine turns 6 tomorrow, her well check is on Friday, like every year. But for me, they'll email like, hey, you haven't, you need to go see your OBGYN. I'm like, I do need to do that.
And so you put yourself last.
Oh yeah,
because you do get busy, and with all the things happening, it's easy for us to like not make ourselves a priority, but you really do. And so it's very exciting, the different ways that we've worked with community to go out to patients,
to provide that to them.
And they don't have to be our patients. Let me make it clear too. When we go out and do community outreach, it's anybody that wants to come, we're there to provide education and tools and resources.
So Dr. Perrone was actually here the first day that we started the podcast, and one of the things that she talked about, which I think is just absolutely phenomenal, is the fact that when patients do get a diagnosis or they go to the doctor, something's up, they get the screening, then, furthermore, diagnostic testing, we will get them in, they'll see a doctor, they'll see a provider, have kind of a care plan within 7 to 14 days. Can you kind of talk about Ochsner, your role in that, the operations behind that, and why Ochsner prides themselves on that in their cancer center?
Yes, one thing that I can say, like, because we're an integrative health system, and because you have the primary care, the surgeon, the oncologist, the rad onc provider, you've got the whole continuum under the same umbrella. things move faster. When you're on one medical record and you've got all your providers together and they're all communicating, it moves fast. We also have multidisciplinary clinics where we discuss every patient, and all the providers in the care plan say, okay, here's what I think, here's what I think. We have pathology and radiology. Everybody's in there to discuss, and then we all walk out with a plan. And so to be able to have, but the reason we can do that is because they're all under the same organization.
Right.
When you have your care, like you get your cancer care here, but your primary care is here, like everything's just like, it takes a little bit longer to get communication to the medical records to care coordinators.
Right. The right hand's not talking to the left hand.
That's right. It's just
good.
And eventually it happens. It slows down treatment because you're having to coordinate with folks in different entities and trying to do the care. And you know, we also know that, you know, you might be a patient with cancer, but you might be a cardiac patient where you're a heart patient and you need your cardiologist to weigh on the type of treatment that you may be getting for chemotherapy. Right. So to be able to have everybody, because we know that there's the whole human at play. You may have like diabetes and other things. And so having all your providers talking and communicating and seeing what's going on, keeping them informed, it does allow things to move fast. And again, because we have tumor conference, because we have multidisciplinary clinic where the providers get together, we're able to progress a patient through their treatment
much faster, which definitely lessens, it won't mitigate that anxiety and that feelings of like the unknown, which you said it's an entire human at play, which is just insane how we're able to do that so quickly.
And I think if the patient knows like, okay, here's what to expect, here are next steps, and they're still moving through the process, it feels better than just like, okay, I saw this person, now I'm waiting for them to get back to them, and then I'm waiting another day.
You're like, where is it again?
And who's the quarterback, right? So we have nurse navigators that will follow you step by step, will educate you on the process, because it is a very scary, lonely feeling. Like, because even though you may have support, you just feel like, you know, I've never had cancer, but just from hearing from our patients and from family that's had it, I mean, you're just totally in disbelief. You're like,
even just the terminology. Like my dad had colon cancer last spring, and so it's just like, it's a lot coming at you fast, and to have someone there holding your hand all the way through,
it's like everyone's running around the room, and you're like, just
right there. And for sure.
That's awesome. Like it's just awesome how we're able to provide that to the patients and be able to like push that forward, establish that here in Baton Rouge, and it's growing everywhere, and even in New Orleans and all of our other different sites that we offer cancer services at. So from a little bit of, you were talking about the breast grant that Ochsner has, and I know Caitlin knows a lot about the grants as well. How does the fundraising, I guess I'm asking both of you guys this question, from us with Fork and also just the American Cancer Society impact Ochsner with those grants? Like, what are you able to do further, and what are you able to see from your side of the fence? I guess whoever wants to start first.
I mean, I could start. I mean, so going back to seeing like transportation and lodging, like that's very real time, because we see like how many times we're helping people with transportation, because if you're getting radiation and you're having to come 5 days a week, not everybody has somebody that can get them there, and they may not feel physically well to drive themselves. And, you know, to be able to say, hey, we have a way to support and help you, because going through treatment can be very expensive, especially if you can't work, you know, especially if you're not in a place to do that. So seeing, you know, being able to get them to treatment, I've seen that from the dollars that have come to the organization. And again, lodging, Hope Lodge, or if, you know, in Baton Rouge, we don't have a Hope Lodge, but if they do need help with like staying somewhere while they're here, especially our patients that are coming from afar, we're able to do that. And so it's been fun. And then just being a part of seeing like what's coming down the pipeline with resources and education. So, you know, Amy Williams is really great about letting us know what the latest resources are. Right. And then we're able to disseminate that. So having the partnership and aligning with the latest and greatest information. It's been helpful.
Yeah. One thing that I didn't realize before coming to ACS, you know, I knew they gave out transportation and lodging grants. I knew that, but I love that, I say we, ACS in general, dishes them out to the cancer centers themselves, because you guys are in the trenches with the patients. Y'all know who needs them, you know? Correct. And so I feel like that's such a good way to disseminate the funds, because I think it would be, I'm not sure how ACS itself would be able to decide who needs it and who doesn't, but you guys know your patients, your nurse navigators know your patients, whatever. So it's easier that way. And I love that aspect of the way the grants are delved out. Yeah,
it's a really interesting relationship there. I think both trusting and engaging, but it grows together as Ochsner grows, ACS grows with it.
Correct.
As ACS grows, so on and so forth. It's really
Correct.
cool. It's a kind of a parallel, a nice parallel right there.
And like
Yeah.
you said, the resources and stuff is such a cool side of it too, because again, just thinking back to last spring when my dad got the colon cancer diagnosis, like his doctor directed us to cancer.org. And I was like, oh, wow, that's me, you know. But it's such a great resource
Yeah.
of information
Yeah.
and of like real, I'm going to say like layman's terms.
Yeah.
It was easy for us to break down and like, okay, your doctor said it wasn't in your lymph nodes, so you're not stage this. You're not like we were able to kind of decipher through
Yeah.
cancer.org. We were able
Yeah.
to filter to colon cancer. We were able to filter to stage 2. And it was a good resource for our family because the internet can be the worst
yeah.
place sometimes. And so
I agree. If you start Googling,
correct. It was just, we were all spiraling, you know, like you said, it's overwhelming as it is. And so
Yes.
I loved just being directed to cancer.org and being able to utilize it on that side of things was really interesting.
yeah.
That's awesome. Annabeth, what drives your passion for this work? I know a little bit. I know like your
Yes.
story and everything like that, but why is this so personal to you? What's your passion to continue working in cancer
Yeah.
and how that aligns with Ochsner's commitment to innovation and cancer care?
Yeah, so I've been very fortunate where I've worked with cancer care for 14 of, well, I guess I've been doing this almost 16 years. Gosh, I feel old. So for like 15 of the 16, I've had cancer as an area I've managed. And so initially when I started working, it was something that like my scope just expanded and they're like, hey, you're gonna add this to your scope. And I was like, okay. And once I got in it, I was like, wow, this is incredible just to see the work's being done. It's incredible to see what the innovation, going back to that, in cancer care and the last, 16 years. And one of my career defining moments was when we partnered with MD Anderson, because I believe when you bring together two robust, talented organizations with these health experts, it's only going to be better for cancer care because the
For the
collaboration
patients.
and the collaboration. And so that, so personally, I've had my grandmother had lung cancer and she passed from lung cancer. My other grandmother had breast cancer and she survived that. My great aunt had colon cancer. She survived that. So I've had family members close to me, have, cancer and friends. And so to me, it's like to be able to come to work every day and serve knowing that I'm helping with the future like helping with a mission and a cause to try to, end cancer. It's just, you can't help but to feel very, connected to that. Like who would not want to be like, hey, like I am behind this 100%.
Right.
So that brings me so much joy because of what we're doing. And I really feel like cancer has such progression in the treatment that it's also very exciting to hear like what's coming down the pipeline, what's the next thing, because the faster we can, explore and have clinical trials and progress, the more opportunity is to save lives.
Correct.
Yes.
I know your kids are young too, like mine, and I think all the time of like what cancer will look like for them and their generation versus like our parents or our grandparents, how much it has changed just in those few generations.
Like 5 years, like with immunotherapy.
course.
Like I've seen a patient have like one scan look like completely, full of cancer, and then immunotherapy, and then be cleared, like a stage 4 cancer. And I was like, wow, like it's so impressive just to see really, like I said, like the last couple years, how much things have even catapulted.
Progress.
Right.
Yeah.
And I was telling Dr. Perone, I was like, I feel that Ochsner gives you an arena to play in essentially because we value innovation. We value pushing those boundaries to continue researching. And that's something Dr. Russell talked about as well, who is one of our rad-onc docs. He's fabulous. But he said, what did he say? Like cancer basically will just become something
like
that
a long-term disease versus like a death sentence as of decades ago, And so he's like, we're going to get to a point where this is going to be a manageable disease that you're going to be able to live with long-term.
Right. I know. And it gives me chills.
It does. It does.
Because I do think about I think about people that have passed, like, man, had this existed, they could have had, a chance. And then even just thinking like for my girl, I'm always like, please, let there be, and I do believe there will be more and more options.
Of course.
Even with screening, I'm sure there's gonna be like really cool technology for screenings to make it more innovative where they don't even have to go into like a place of service to have it done. Like to do it at their house, or I'm sure there's gonna be something coming down the pipe.
Oh my
For
gosh,
sure.
it'd be like the Jetsons or something
Oh,
with
yeah,
the like holograms
yeah.
and flying cars.
Yeah,
or
they knew it was up a long
they
time
did.
ago.
They did. They did. That's so funny. So what do you think is the most meaningful part of Ochsner being a sponsor? I mean, we're incredibly grateful for you guys. This is the 3rd year you guys have been the presenting sponsor with Fort Cancer. And I mean, I'm just so excited for the growth that this event has in general. But from your perspective, what does it mean to you?
I just feel like the mission in which is behind what y'all are doing in Fort Cancer, and really to try and engage our younger population to say, hey, like pay attention now, like this is, and in a way that engages them, that's fun, that's like I want to be a part of what y'all are doing, because this is exciting in the sense that I can make a difference. Being able to work with what y'all are doing and partner it because we do recognize it starts at the ground up. Like the more we can integrate with, like, educate people younger and younger about what cancer is, what are risk factors, when should you be screened,
Right.
How, like, where do you get, where are your options to be screened,
Right.
You know, I think about me when I was younger, like cancer was something like you got when you were old, like
Correct.
Yeah.
Like,
Out of sight, out of mind.
like,
yeah.
and you feel like you're what's the right word? I'm
Just like
thinking?
invincible.
And
as a
that's
young-
what,
yes.
yes,
that's a good
you feel invincible. And now that we are seeing the trends of cancer, starting younger with some of the diagnosis, like I had a friend that was in, a sorority with me that got colon cancer too. And I was like shocked, like, because when you think of like the risk factors for colon cancer, I would not have thought like,
It's her.
Right.
it would be her, right? But you just don't know. And that's why we have to always stay on top of it. So I think why we see the value in it is it anything that's going to let patients know or let the community know how important it is to,
Right.
Cancer screening, and then also be a part of an organization that's helping the future of cancer care with patient advocacy and with, research, because the dollars do go to cancer research. You can't help but to want to align because of what's happening. And then the way y'all have done it with these events, it's been fantastic to, engage with the community.
Yeah. Brings them in.
It brings them in, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it's so cool. I'm like, I can't wait for Fort Cancer.
I know it's gonna be so. We're
I
excited.
know we're biased, but we think
Yeah,
it's the best.
it
It's
is.
fun.
I
We're
agree
just
with y'all.
advice. So we'll end with a little game. I know we were supposed to start with it, but we'll just, just to get to know Annabeth
Yes.
a little bit more and just make it fun. Okay. Taylor Swift or Beyonce?
Taylor Swift.
Ooh,
Love
she's
it.
your girl then. Salty or sweet?
Salty.
Favorite place to get a pizza?
Okay, it was Florida Lee
Mm.
on Government. Like,
Yes.
that's like
Iconic.
my
Baton Rouge,
yes. I
Mhm.
really hope this. I think somebody's supposed to be reopening
Bringing it back up?
bringing it back. So,
Ooh.
y'all, that's hard. But that was like my jam.
Mhm. Agreed.
That's good.
It
That was so good. Favorite place you've traveled to?
Italy.
Why?
It's, I mean, just the culture, to like the food.
I've seen the
The
pictures. It
experience.
looks amazing. Like I was so jealous when you showed me all of them.
Yeah, I mean, it's just so, for me, being able to explore another country in itself is such a cool experience. And then I love Tuscany, the rolling hills. I love wine. So that doesn't hurt
Yeah, it
either.
goes hand in hand.
That
Yeah.
doesn't hurt. But
We
it
talk-
was,
Pasta, wine.
Yes.
Like, say
Right.
less.
and it
yeah.
was just like being able to like walk on cobblestone streets and just like take in the architect. Like, the architect is so cool, and learn about the history. Tuscany, like, out of all the places. And then, what was the last? Capri, the water.
Yes.
So it was just a magical experience. Like,
I'm so jealous.
so
Let's all go. How about we?
yes.
Yeah, it'd be easy.
Listen, you don't have to twist my arm to go to Italy.
Y'all
Okay,
would
let's
have
all
to,
go.
y'all would have to sedate me to get on the plane. But other than that, I'd be good.
We'll be good. We'll be fine after that. Yeah. Two more. Favorite snack?
Oh, like, like, of course, like cheese, like I mean, like charcuterie, like that type of thing.
My girl.
When I think about like what
Yes.
I was like, oh, I have to think about what do I typically, because admittedly half the time I'm running out the house,
Yeah.
and I'm not pre-planning ahead of time.
That's true.
But yes,
cheese,
but meat and
and
cheese, like crackers,
always the best.
yes.
And then if you were given the opportunity, if you could, what celebrity would you trade places with it for like a day?
Well, honestly, I was gonna say Taylor Swift,
Yeah.
because how, like,
You could just jet off to wherever you wanted on her jet.
Yeah,
that's
on it,
right,
yeah.
and then like dance on a stage and like
Yes.
She's a
sing.
genius.
I mean, I can't
too.
sing like her, but like,
You could if you were her.
but I could if I was her.
True, you would
Yes,
embody the voice.
yes.
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
I mean, it would be kind of neat to see
Yeah.
her life. I feel like it's not that what I'm saying. I guess y'all can cut this part, but
yeah,
I don't feel like it's that like insightful. Other than it just,
Oh yeah, that'd
it'd be
cool.
fun. Yeah,
it'd be fun.
for a day.
But
Yeah.
she's a hard worker,
Mhm.
and she's been able to influence
Mm-hmm.
like outside of the like countries.
Everything.
Oh yeah.
So I would just be fascinated to see like what her discipline is and like what her routine is and like
That's is her morning routine.
yeah, like what do
do?
you do the behind the scenes of your
Who,
life?
like who does she surround herself with
That's
like day to day?
right.
Yeah.
That's right.
That is
Yeah.
so cool.
Other than her cats.
Yes. and Travis.
That's so great. Well, thank you so much, Annabeth.
Yes.
I love you so much. I get to work with you all the time, but truly the impact that you and Ochsner and everything with cancer that you guys do here in Baton Rouge, in Louisiana and beyond in the Southeast is absolutely incredible. And we're so thankful for
Yes.
what you do and
Yes.
the support of Ochsner being a
Yes,
sponsor.
So thankful
Yeah.
for the partnership. This has been a great conversation. We really
Yes.
appreciate it.
Yeah.
Well, same here. We could not do what we do without y'all's partnership and help. And I'm excited about Fort Cancer May 1st.
May
Yeah.
1st. Yeah.
Yeah.
May 1st. Get your
Yes.
tickets. But yeah.